Manali in the hill state of Himachal Pradesh is undergoing an emergency owing to extreme weather conditions, which is increasingly becoming now a human tragedy. Shifting our focus now to a deeply disturbing ground reality emerging from Himachal Pradesh's Manali, destination that promises joy, holidays and memories. But it has turned into a frozen nightmare for hundreds. Heavy snowfall has brought Manali to a complete standstill. Tourists are stranded, roads are frozen, and help is nowhere in sight. For nearly 48 hours now, life in this popular hill station has been paralyzed, with families trapped in vehicles, battling sub-zero temperatures, without food, without water, and with no clarity on when relief will arrive. And this is not just a weather story anymore. This is a human crisis unfolding on icy roads. Let us take you through what is happening on the ground. Continuous snowfall ranging from 1 to 2 feet has completely shut down critical national highway stretches near Manali. Key routes have disappeared under thick layers of snow, where nearly 7 to 8 kilometers of highway remains blocked, turning roads into sheets of deadly black ice. Vehicles cannot move. Tires have no grip. Every turn is now a risk. Every stop could mean being stranded for hours or even far worse. National highways that connect Manali to the rest of Himachal Pradesh and to the neighboring states are now choked. What should have been a scenic winter drive has become a survival test. The impact has been devastating.
2026 और अभी हमें भाई माल रोड और वोल्वो स्टैंड के पास में, और भाई लोग इतने फंसे हुए हैं यहाँ पे, जो कल रात को शाम को 8 बजे से फंसे हुए हैं। हम भी कल रात को 8 बजे फंसे थे और सुबह हो चुकी है, तो गाड़ियाँ हिली ही नहीं है। तो भाई अभी अगर ट्रैवल करने की सोच रहे हो तो कम से कम 2-4 दिन तो वेट करो, नहीं तो भाई फंस गए ना तो बहुत बुरा हाल है लोगों का।
लगता है रात भर यहीं ठहरना पड़ेगा गाड़ियों के अंदर, क्योंकि आप देख सकते हो गाड़ियां अब हिलने का नाम नहीं ले रही है और रोड पूरा जम चुका है। अभी मैं हूं मनाली में बहुत ही खतरनाक स्नोफॉल हो रही है, बहुत ही भयानक।
आज आपका 24 जनवरी 2026 और देखिए रात से गाड़ी फंसी हुई है यहाँ पर। सारी जितनी वॉल्वो वगैरह की रात से सवारी इसके अंदर ही बैठी हुई, देखो यहाँ पर पूरी बर्फ से ढकी हुई है सारी गाड़ी, और वॉल्वो भी रात से खड़ी है। रात के फंसे बने यहाँ पर, और रोड का काम चला इसलिए हो जाएगा शायद 1.5-2 घंटे में क्लियर। और ऐसे मैंने अपडेट के लिए फॉलो गाइस।
Tourists attempting to enter Manali were forced to abandon their vehicles midway. Imagine this: families leaving behind cars, dragging suitcases through knee-deep snow, carrying children in their arms, helping elderly parents walk inch by inch. Many of them walked 10 to 20 kilometers through freezing conditions simply because their vehicles could go no further. No transport, no shelter, just snow, wind and fear. And for those trying to leave Manali, the situation is equally grim. Massive traffic jams on the Manali-Patli coal stretch that has left vehicles stuck for over 24 hours. Cars, taxis, buses frozen in its place. Passengers have been forced to spend entire nights inside the vehicles, engines switched off to save fuel while temperature dipped below zero. No toilets, no food, and no drinking water. Children have been left crying, elderly gasping for breath, tourists shivering through the night, wrapped in whatever clothes they could possibly find. And this is not a traffic jam, this is a human lock-in. A taxi driver from Chandigarh says that his passengers are completely helpless, trapped inside the vehicle with no supplies and no sign of road clearing machinery. He says, and I quote, "We have been here for hours with no JCBs, no police, no help. People are scared, unquote. While another tourist from Gujarat says his family has barely moved just 200 meters in over a day. They spent the night inside the car, surrounded by snow, afraid to step out, unsure if help would arrive before morning. Locals warn that the situation is gradually turning critical by the hour. Manali's Volvo bus stand, usually bustling with travellers, is now completely blanketed in snow.
ये देखिए भाई, इस टाइम मैं हूँ प्रेजेंट आपका वॉल्वो मनाली बस स्टैंड में। तो सारी की सारी वॉल्वो जो इस टाइम आपकी वॉल्वो बस स्टैंड से निकाली जा रही है, क्योंकि बर्फ का लेवल जो है काफ़ी ज़्यादा इस टाइम मनाली में आपका बढ़ चुका है, जिस वजह से जो सारी की सारी बसें आपकी यहाँ से निकाली जा रही है। ये सारी बसें अब आपकी लगेगी नीचे जाके पतली कुल में, क्योंकि यहाँ से जो है भाई बसों को निकालना फिर काफ़ी ज़्यादा मुश्किल हो जाता है। ये आप चेक कर सकते हैं भाई स्टैंड किस तरीके से जो है वॉल्वो बस का जो है टायर पूरा का पूरा ये कर रहा है, स्किड कर रहा है। बाकी इसी वजह से जो है भाई यहाँ से सारी बसें इस टाइम निकाली जा रही है। पूरा का पूरा वॉल्वो बस स्टैंड आपको जो है खाली मिलेगा कल तक, और कुछ ऐसा नज़ारा इस टाइम मनाली वॉल्वो बस स्टैंड का बन चुका है।
Bus services are disrupted, schedules are cancelled, passengers are stranded with tickets in their hand but nowhere to go. Footages from the site show buses struggling to even enter the stand, while platforms are slippery, vehicles skid dangerously. People wait anxiously, hoping the next announcement isn't another cancellation. And the danger is not just from being stuck, it's from losing control. In one chilling video from Manali that has now gone viral, a car can be seen losing balance on an icy stretch of road, slowly sliding towards the edge of a deep gorge. One person desperately tries to stop the vehicle with his hands, but the ice is unforgiving. The car keeps sliding, and that video captures the terrifying reality of these roads, where one wrong move can mean a certain disaster. Residents say people are crying for help.
गाइस, जितनी भी 2x4 गाड़ियां हैं उनको धीरे धीरे नीचे सेफ जगह के लिए निकाला जा रहा है। आज 23 जनवरी मनाली में आप देख सकते हो काफी हैवी करके लाइव स्नोफॉल हो रही है। अगर स्नोफॉल आज पूरा दिन रही तो पूरा मनाली पैक हो जाएगा गाइस।
Ladies and gentlemen, that we are asking here in News 9 is that where is the administration? Tourists and locals allege that no timely deployment of JCBs, snow cutters or rescue teams was done when the snowfall began. Roads that could have been cleared early, routes that could have been regulated, and traffic that could have been staggered, and tourism that could have been controlled were all left unattended, though there were warnings way ahead of the snowfall. Weather alerts were issued, yet preparations on ground appear painfully inadequate. Authorities say that as snowfall continues, full restoration of traffic is not yet possible. They claim that rescue and clearance operations will intensify once weather conditions improve. And to discuss this further, I'm joined by an esteemed panel of guests this evening. I'm joined by Major General Dr. Yash Moore, who's also an author and CEO for Save the Himalayas. I'm also joined by Ratan Dhillon, social activist and professional off-roader and rallyist. Thank you so much for joining me over here on Republic Day. And the story that we are playing out on Republic Day essentially is for the people who are right now stuck in Himachal Pradesh amid extreme weather conditions. They are facing acute situation where there is no roads ahead for them to navigate and get out to a point of safety. Major General Dr. Yash Moore, I want to begin by asking you, could this have been avoided if there were warnings, if there were signs, if the Met Department had already predicted? Shouldn't the authorities and the administration have sprung into action way earlier trying to estimate the fact that Manali does see a strong footfall when it comes to tourists, and therefore this situation could have been avoided if they had taken action well in advance.
Thank you so much for inviting me on this program, and wishing you and all your listeners and watchers a very happy Republic Day. Not a good scene from Manali, but this has become routine in all our hill stations. I think it is callousness on at every level, it's local administration, and the kind of irresponsible tourism you see in India. It is becoming really intolerable now, and it is not only in Himachal. It is seen in Uttarakhand. It is seen in Leh Ladakh, everywhere. So while administration should have, I don't know, why do we allow so many cars and buses to reach there? These towns, these hill stations do not have the capacity to absorb so many tourists there. And when the weather is bad, there should have been warnings, and we have the highways which are reaching here. The traffic should be stopped much down below and not allowed to go there. It is absolutely free for all. Last year in 2025 we lost 4,000 people in Himachal due to flash floods and other natural calamities. Same thing has been happening repeatedly in Uttarakhand, especially on the Char Dham Yatra route. I think overall, whether it is the civil administration, right from the district level to the state level, and of course the tourists are absolutely, they show no responsibility. They show no care for the nature. They show no care for the fellow travelers. We just don't follow traffic rules. We throw all the muck around.
Yashmore,
very sad
is it
situation. Sad
fair
to
to
see
just
this, but
blame the
I
tourist?
don't know
Mr.
what really
Yashmore,
can
is
be
it
done.
fair to just blame the tourist, or can this sort of a tourist footfall be regulated by the state administration? They know that this is sort of a long weekend. They know that the tourists are going to flock into this tourist destination. So why is there no regulated check that should be there to ensure that this is the extent to which we are going to allow the influx of the tourists? Is it fair to just blame the tourists, Mr. Yashmore?
No, tourists must take the blame, but I agree with you. We don't have a system in place. We just don't have a system in place. For that, you can blame the administration, and administration may, right from the state to the local authorities. There seems to be nobody interested, whether it's the traffic police, whether the district administration, the tourism department, the hotel industry. They all should get together to see how many people they can absorb. And unless you have a confirmed booking, unless a confirmed booking for parking as well as for stay, nobody should be allowed to move inside. Many advanced countries, developed countries follow this. Even when they have huge national parks, they don't allow even one extra person to enter that place. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's callousness on all sides. The tourists, certainly, why should they? Because it's a long weekend, and so they just take off for Manali, Shimla and all these places. And the district administration is just, I think, just keeps watching the situation. So it is a lackadaisical attitude on all sides.
Mr. Dhillon, how do you look at what Mr. Yashmore is saying right now? Because as far as the tourists are concerned, people are concerned, it's not the first time around we have seen a large footfall at these hill stations. But this comes with a rider in the sense that there was a warning when it comes to extreme snowfall. It wasn't that the state government was unaware about this. Could there be some sense of an understanding between adjoining states, with state governments, with the transport departments, to get a basic ballpark about what is the kind of numbers that we are looking at, the number of buses, cars coming in from the adjoining states to a given destination? Because once the tourists are there, then of course it becomes a state responsibility.
Yeah, definitely I can say that the authorities has already provided the notification, the weather forecast all over the internet for the people for the upcoming snows. But actually the people are also equally at the fault. There should be a regular check also. People, like even the 90% of the people driving to the snow doesn't know the basic knowledge of the driving on snow. It's not just you take your 4x4 vehicles, your modified so-called Thars to the uphills and you will have a snow drive. You basically need a proper skill, knowledge to drive on this icy roads. You need the proper snow chains and the proper tire pressure is also required to keep driving on the snows. There should be a check by the authorities at the green tax, the barrier of the Manali, to check whether
But
they
what
all over
happens
the
now? But what happens now, Mr. Dhillon and Mr. Yashmore? There are people stranded, there are people stuck, there are children, there are elderly with no help at sight. There are drivers from these various tourism companies who are telling us that how they have left their drivers helpless because their cars haven't moved an inch. Given the situation there, should the state government not be more proactive when it comes to rescuing these people? They don't even have an access to a toilet or basic amenities. Forget about getting warm clothes. It's basic water, drinking water is what they've been deprived of. What should be the course of action at this point in time for a state government to try and mitigate this crisis at hand, Mr. Yashmore?
See, Samya, while I understand it's a crisis, 48 hours sitting in car or a Volvo, children, women, no toilets, no drinking water. I'm sure they must be carrying some food and drinking water in the car, but most important thing is how to get out of the car for your normal nature's call, and that too on the roads which are so packed. I really fear for the women and children, how they would be managing themselves. But the issue is how does the state administration, especially if you need JCBs to pull out vehicles which are stuck or provide water or food, how do you reach? And these people are so careless. These tourists, exactly what Ratan was telling. They just don't even read on the internet that there is a warning. They have no idea. They just ravage our mountains. Sometimes I feel they deserve it because they don't concern. उनको कोई concern है ही नहीं. They have a Thar, they have a Fortuner, they own the roads, they have the money, and our tourists, especially who are visiting hill stations in last few years, including Ladakh, are the most careless. We must fine them heavily. We must charge them heavily. We must tax them heavily for reaching these places in these fancy cars. They are responsible for this. What is state administration? Who will go and give them blankets now? Who will provide them water now? What do we have? What is there in Manali?
But Mr. Yashmore, this is the very same state government that also benefits through tourism. This is the very same state government that can also put regulations in place. When we're talking about a system to keep the number of tourists in check, who is going to do that? Who is going to set the system if not the state administration?
No, I agree with you. State administration must take the blame. But that's what I'm saying. There is callousness. There is chalta hai attitude. People are not bothered, or they feel helpless. So what is the chief secretary there, the entire bureaucracy, the traffic police, everybody should be responsible. If the young police officers and administrators should be out in the snow at this moment.
Absolutely. Mr. Dhillon, I will come to you.
If there's a military unit, we would be out at this time. And trying to take care of people or whatever best you can do. But this is what happens when you just wash your hands off the situation totally and leave people.
And this is not the time for it. This is not the time for it. We can delve into blame game later, but at this point in time, they need help. Mr. Dhillon, I will come to you, but let's listen in to what one of the tourists stuck in this crisis has to say about it. Let's listen in.
पर यहाँ पे मनाली कितने हालात माड़े हैं ना, बहुत बुरे हालात हैं. कोई ट्रैफिक का नहीं देख रहे हैं, कोई कुछ नहीं करे. 12-12, 13-13, 14-14 यहाँ की पूरा दिन यहाँ पे लोग खड़े हैं, पर यहाँ पे कोई रूल नहीं, कोई रेगुलेशन नहीं, कोई कुछ नहीं है. कोई भी गाड़ी कहीं पे लगा रहा है और पुलिस वगैरह प्रशासन कुछ नहीं कर रहा है. और स्नो इतनी हो रखी है, बुरा हाल इतना है, ना कोई जेसीबी के साथ कुछ कर रहा है, करवा रहा है, ना कोई कर्मचारी है, ना कोई कुछ है, ना पुलिस है, कुछ नहीं है यहाँ पे तो इतना बुरा हाल है मनाली में. यहाँ तो आगे से ना कभी यहाँ पे कोई आए ना, अगर ऐसा माहौल यहाँ पे बना रहा तो.
Mr. Dhillon, there you heard it from the tourist who has been stuck over there, saying that we are standing over here for the almost entire day with no help at sight. What should be done now? Of course, there has to be systems in place, but at this point in time, we are looking at a crisis at hand. Mr. Dhillon, what do you think is going to be the responsibility of the state government right now? How can they possibly step in?
The winter season is basically the off season in Manali. It's not the on season. So most of the hotels are closed right now. At least authorities can open up the hotels so that people can accommodate rather than staying on the roads and in the cars. At least they can do is open up the hotels for the people. This is the minimum they can do.
Right. Mr. Yashmore, before I wrap this conversation, I have to understand that this is a perennial issue. Not the first time around that we are looking at a heavy snowfall, and we cannot say that's never going to happen again in future. But what learnings are we getting from this particular episode right now, and how can the state government use it to try and put a plan, a strategy in place to ensure that the influx of tourists is checked? They have to try and be in coordination with the other states as well to understand what is the number of cars and buses they're looking at that are going to be entering. Because while you want to regale in the fact that Manali is one of the hottest tourist hotspots, you also have to take responsibility once the people are there in your state.
No, I agree with you. I think such tragedies or such eventualities or give us a chance to have a look at our system. We hardly have a system in place, frankly. Not only this is Himachal, if it's anywhere state, you'll find the same situation. So I think we need a system by which unless you have a confirmed reservation, unless your car also you have registered it well in time, without internet, without getting confirmation, nobody should be allowed to move. There should be heavy, I call it the green tax. Everybody who moves into these hill stations for tourism must pay tax so that we can maintain the roads, we can clean the garbage they leave behind, and take care of people for eventuality like this. And I am sure the state administration must pull. Police is the best agency which can immediately take action. Police should be on the roads now rescuing people, open police stations, open schools and colleges to give them, and local help. People should come forward and provide them food and stay in the shelter in their houses. If hotel is closed, if there is no worker there, I don't know how you can make them activated again. But yes, some effort can be done for hotels close by, some medical aid, the medical department of the state government, and whatever central government agencies are here. Central government has many agencies in these areas, and if the army or any other paramilitary force is there, they really do a great job.
Right.
So all of them have to work together, and let's regulate tourism in our hills. Otherwise, Saima, we are really ravaging our hills. And if we don't stop this, future is very bleak as far as our Himalayan region.
Absolutely, a humanitarian crisis where everybody bears a responsibility, whether it is the state government, the tourists, and also the central government. At this hour of crisis, it's the chance for everyone to pitch in to help those in need and ensure that a situation like this doesn't get repeated.